Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to the Crewcast, episode 27 for the 7th of December 2013. Today we have Boz, Piper, Giz, Danny, and me, Mario, and we'll go straight into the news.
Alright, Steam breaks 7 million concurrent users. So just a while back we had a news article about how many people they've had sign up, eclipsing the Xbox Live membership. But now they've had 7 million concurrent users at one time using the service. What do you guys think?
That's a lot of people.
That's crazy.
Well, if they keep doing good sales like they've just done, then
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy good, not crazy bad. I mean, it's really good to see it growing so strong. And every year it seems to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I think the thing that worries me a little bit is, I mean, we use Steam. We rely on it a lot for gaming. On the PC, we rely on it for messaging, checking to see if people are around. And every once in a while, my Steam crashed or Steam just went offline, and you worry that, will it grow too fast that eventually it's going to get to the point where it's very unstable. It seems like they keep scaling up the servers and things to manage the load, but it kind of on a bubble. I mean, I will say it's not the most reliable connection service out there.
No.
Yeah, it does crash quite a few times during the day.
I mean, it works.
Steam
it works
is
well.
now offline.
I mean, by all means, I love Steam. I mean, PC gaming is still my favorite form of gaming, and Steam is pushing the forefront, trying to keep prices cheaper, and console prices are insane. Console download prices are insane. Digital downloads on consoles should be cheaper than physical products, but we know it'll never be because the brick and mortar stores and the companies that make their living selling physical products would start screaming if their markets got taken away from them. And neither Sony nor Microsoft really wants to step up and say, screw you guys, we're going to sell the games cheaper.
Yeah, that's one thing that annoys me. Like, digital is pretty much the same as a hard copy of a game. There's no logic there, really, for me. I don't get it.
So, I mean, I guess the problem I have is $59.99 in the States will get you a console game. In most cases, it's $59.99 for the download. I think in Europe, some of the games are even more expensive to download than they are to buy in physical product. But it's like, how much time, effort, and money is spent to make that CD, to make that box, to package it, to ship it, to put it on shelves, to go through all of that? What's the effect and all that costs on the effect on the environment, when it comes to the making the product, or if it gets thrown into a landfill at some point. Why is digital games not cheaper? I think because of Steam, things like the Xbox One and the PS4 are going to get to this digital format quicker, because I think they're going to have to, especially if the Steam console takes off. But I mean, I think it's great that there's 7 million concurrent users on Steam. I hope they can just keep rocking and, go Steam.
Yay!
Here's to 10 mil.
All right, now this next one is probably the coolest and the most wacky story that came out this week. And I think it's hilarious and amazing. But did you guys watch the video that Amazon is looking, maybe 2015, 2016, 2017, depending on FAA regulations, to start delivering products to customers by drones within like 30 minutes of your order. I think they mean more like 30 minutes of shipping, but you have to be within about 10
What?
miles of the distribution center. If you watch the video that I'm going to put it up here on the channel, but you make your order, it gets put in a box. It has to be 5 pounds or less and fit in the box. But Amazon's saying 89% of their products fit in this category. If you're within 10 miles of a distribution center, and they're all over the US and they're in Europe and everywhere, the little drone will then fly to your doorstep, drop the product off, and then fly back. And you get your product in 30 minutes.
What?
That is crazy. That is like
It's the
science
future.
fiction.
It's the
That's a
future.
bit. Yeah. It's
Did you
kind of-
guys watch the video?
I watched the video.
Yeah. I feel like it's April the 1st. Like, this is a wind up, right?
I mean,
This is real.
couldn't someone theoretically like shoot it down and
Yeah.
steal it?
Well, here in the States, if the FAA regulates the airspace, which it does, that will be a federal offense. That would be no different than trying to take down a plane. I mean, it will be considered a federal offense. People doing it will be prosecuted. So there will be people who are going to want to chase those things. Here's what I want to do. When this becomes available, I am going to order 50 separate products at one time. And I want this like army of drones
Oh my
flying
god!
into my house and
Wow!
landing.
the sun.
Wow!
That'd be hilarious.
But like, what would happen
Like
if
300 with drones.
someone orders one? They like maybe are like in a bath or something, and they forget that they've ordered one. So it comes to the door and it lands, and maybe there's some like gangsters walking by your road going, "No, whoa, whoa." They see this box, they go, "Whoa, whoa." They steal it, and they stole your item because you forgot about it.
I'm assuming there'd be like a notification go off to say that it's.
Or will it have
been
like a little
delivered.
hand that like rings the doorbell and knocks on the door?
Well, I mean, let's be fair
It
first.
looks quite flimsy, to be fair.
First off, people steal packages now.
True.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of you guys like live in areas where I think Piper has like mentioned that, not that she lives in a bad area, but she can't have things delivered because she's not there. If something sits outside apartments, it can be sold. So a drone delivering it is probably no different than the UPS guy sitting at your front door. People can steal the
Yeah.
product if they want. Now, if it's going to be delivered in 30 minutes, typically you're going to know it's coming. So
True.
you're going to be more tuned into it. Who knows, too? Maybe they'll even give you the ability to GPS track the drone when you make your order. Should be able to, theoretically, depending on...
Is this real? Is this
This is
actually
deadly.
real?
This is
Yeah,
deadly
it's
real.
Real.
Oh my god. That's kind of scary, but cool, but just like...
It's the future,
It's-
guys.
Yeah,
Just
it's
in
like the
the
future.
US,
Future
though,
is
right?
drones.
They're going to try to do it everywhere, but I'm sure it'll start here in the U.S. and it'll probably start in selected areas. But remember, the biggest key is you have to be within 10 miles of a distribution center. And let's be honest, too, if you live in an apartment or condos, it probably isn't going to be feasible because there's not like one set spot to deliver. For me, this thing can land in my front yard, it could land in my driveway, on my sidewalk. It makes sense. I'm not 10 miles from a distribution center, so but they're popping up all over the place. But I mean, Amazon really is getting crazy. Here in the States, they've started a service where they're going to deliver on Sundays now using the Postal Service, which is normally
Wow.
doesn't even work on Sundays. But
No.
But the Postal Service, it's a government-controlled agency here in the States. There's been some talk of privatizing it, and there's been some talk of like getting rid of Saturday delivery because the Postal Service is losing money. But Amazon's looking now to hire them to deliver stuff on Sunday. So if you order like something on Friday, you can get it on Sunday, which would be awesome. And that's in certain areas already, and they hope to spread it across the U.S. They also, in a couple markets, deliver groceries. They have it's called Amazon Fresh. So it actually is like a big van that says, Amazon Fresh, but you order your groceries, milk, eggs, whatever you want. They bag it all up for you and they bring it right to your door. They've said this is not profitable for them. They're losing money, but they're trying to figure out how to make this profitable because people who are doing it in these test cities, I think Seattle is one of them, they love it. But they have to try to figure out how to make it profitable. Maybe they won't. This drone thing, though, it's going to take longer than what they want. Amazon hopes to 2015 be able to start doing this. I don't think the FAA here in the States is going to regulate it. So, I mean, I think it's cool, but it's going to be a while before this has the potential to happen. And there's going to be a lot of issues that Amazon's going to have to iron out. I mean, weather, drones crashing. I mean, these are real small, but still, you could damage people's property. You could hurt somebody. Even I think Jeff Bezos, the CEO or whatever of Amazon, said on 60 Minutes, where they showed this, and then it went all over the internet, that this thing can't land on people's heads. So,
Do promise me one thing, though, Buzz. When your army of drones does arrive, can you be recording it, please?
yeah, well, I mean, if it ever happens and I get a distribution center within 10 miles, I will definitely be ordering multitudes of products because I think that'll be hilarious watching this army of drones fly in.
Definitely.
So the future is coming, and, you guys, I think you should all right now pledge your allegiance to the drone overlords because they will be taking over.
I'm going to block out the sun.
Am I the only one that actually thinks that's going to happen?
Yes.
All right, so moving on. The PS4 breaks sales records in the UK. It outsells the Xbox One and sells more in 24 hours than the Wii U has sold to date.
Oh, shots fired!
Ouch! Ouch!
Oh.
So it sounds like the PS4 sold, I think it was 250,000 units in a 24-hour there window, and in the UK. And I think the Wii U was it like 140, something like that. And I think the Xbox One was like 170 in a week. So obviously the PS4 is outselling the Wii U dramatically, and so is the Xbox One. But the PS4 seems to be winning the sales. But on a flip side, and I'm combining these two stories, the Xbox One dominated in sales on Black Friday here in the States. Now, I think this is probably more because there was so much more demand for PS4, but lack of PS4 units that people were buying the Xbox. But I will say the Xbox, probably the 360 is a more popular product here in the States than the PS3 was. But the PS4 is winning, I think, worldwide and in the US at current to date sales.
It's still early, so I think time will tell after Christmas how well they've sold. We might see Xbox overtake PS4, we don't know.
Yeah, Nintendo's always going to be last in that out of those three. They're never going to catch up.
Yeah, they're so far behind now.
But I will say their Wii U numbers really struggle compared to just the Wii U. The Wii did sell quite a bit and was really hot, and the numbers are much higher for the Wii than they are for the Wii U. I think it's pretty evident that the Wii U is struggling. Now, when more must-have Nintendo titles come out for the Wii U, that might help the sales some. But, I think they're going to continue to struggle. I want to say what I just heard today, actually on the radio, when I was driving home. I heard that the PS4, they're saying it's around 2 million right now in current sales, units-wise. And the Xbox One is predicted around 1.5 to 1.7 million. So, definitely losing overall. Remember, though, the PS4 is not being sold in Japan yet and a few other markets, but I know Japan is the big one it's not being sold in yet. But I think both of those numbers, if correct, the 2 million, 1.5, and 1.5, are great numbers for both of them. And that means that both these consoles are going to be supported by the development houses, and that neither of them are a mistake. It's more, what games do you want to play? What exclusives?
Yeah.
Pick the console. You're going to like them both. If, you like the exclusives.
So, as you guys might know, Batman vs Superman is coming out in 2014 or 2015? 2015, isn't it? And casting has been announced for Wonder Woman, and it's someone I don't know called Gal Gadot or something. So, she has been cast as Wonder Woman. She might be good. Who knows?
Boo! Boo!
I mean, Wonder Woman is supposed to be a
She's not Wonder Woman.
Muscly.
Well, let's
face.
say that she could do a Christian Bale or anything else and like muscle up for the movie. She doesn't look like the pictures I've seen, that with the articles talking about her. She doesn't look like somebody who could be Wonder Woman. So I guess we have to leave judgment for when she actually shows up on the big screen. Kind of like people were all upset about, like Heath Ledger as the Joker, like, oh, this is crazy. Similar people are saying, what's his name as Batman?
Ben
This guy's-
Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck. And I was like, oh. So, I mean, I guess we have to give him a shot. I think they should have picked the ex-MMA fighter turned actress, is it Gina Carano, who played in a movie, starred in a movie from, I think, Steven Soderbergh. And I can't remember the name of it. But she's an attractive woman, but she's also
Oh,
tough.
wow.
Oh, wow, what?
I just Googled her. She has muscles.
I mean, she's tough. I mean, she was in a movie where she was the main role, kind of like a spy. She's not the greatest actress, but I mean, it was her first movie, and she's never had any real acting training or anything. But she did pretty darn well. I mean, it was better than, say, like Arnold in his first movie. But she could pull off Wonder Woman because she's not a frail looking little thing, but I mean, she actually is tough. She could probably beat up about 90% of the guys out there.
Maybe she might go work out that gal woman. She might work out or something. Maybe some muscle tone.
I think she's going to have to do something.
Yeah.
Of course, for me, Wonder Woman will always be Lynda Carter.
Is that the original from the
That
TV
was-
series?
Yeah. She was Wonder Woman when I was a kid, and Lynda Carter was one of the most
Yeah.
beautiful women of the time.
Oh, I used to watch this.
She's still actually, I think she's like late 60s, 70s now. She still looks really good. I saw her on an episode of Two and a Half Men, which is not necessarily a favorite show of mine, but I heard she was going to be on it, so I watched it. She looks pretty good still. Yeah, so props to Lynda Carter. Maybe they should cast her.
But what annoys me with these adding Wonder Woman, apart from the casting, just the character, all these new superhero films, like with the Avengers, started, they're all trying to shove in as many superheroes into one film as they can, and I think they're overdoing it, which is why the Amazing Spider-Man, which there's a trailer for the second one, came out recently, I enjoy much more because they're keeping it to the Spider-Man universe. They're not trying to shove in Wonder Woman, and well, I know it's different, but
Well, I mean, yeah, she is in that universe, but yeah, I agree with you. But I do think there's a precedence for that failure, and I 100% agree with you. I think this is a major mistake to try to have so many characters. I mean, go back to Batman. Was it Clooney? Who was Batman when it was Mr. Freeze, the Joker, and Poison Ivy?
Clooney.
Yeah,
That was Clooney, wasn't it?
that was a horrible
Yeah.
movie. It was a horrible
Oh!
decision to put all three of those in there. It's like they
Oh,
always they
There's
always
too much
seem to
going
do
on.
that.
I liked that movie when I was a kid. I had a crush on Poison Ivy.
Well, Uma Thurman, attractive woman. So I mean, women like George Clooney, but I mean, it was just too many villains and too many characters.
Yeah, I mean, the Avengers worked because obviously we had the whole build-up of all the superheroes, and suddenly the Avengers is them all coming together. But I mean, obviously, Batman versus Superman, so far we've got is it 3 superheroes at least? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's called Batman versus Superman, so I don't know how Wonder Woman kind of is going to fit into it. So it does kind of seem a little bit like, oh, okay. But I mean, I'm not that disappointed. I'm just kind of wanting to know how she's going to fit into it.
All right, let's move on. Crew news. Piper, as always, theme server. What's up with that?
Well, we've had a very full server this week. I don't know if it's because we've updated it to 1.7 or I'm not too sure, but we've had lots of people on and it's getting quite full, which is brilliant, and loads of really cool builds on there as per usual. It's been mythology last week, and this week we've got a 2-week theme build of the holidays. So get your thinking caps on and get some lovely builds built. and we want to really. You've got 2 weeks, so spend lots of time on it and really get into details. We want to see some amazing builds this week.
So, real quickly on this too, have you guys seen much? Because as Piper talked about, we're on 7.2, which is another subject for a little bit later. Have you seen much creative use of the new blocks
Yeah,
already?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
love stained glass.
I've actually been using some of the new blocks as well.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Danny
there's
did as well.
loads of stained glass around, and I've seen lots of the new flowers as well being placed.
So, real quickly too on the theme thing, we're going to have a little extra twist with this holiday theme. Not from a standpoint of what you're doing, building wise, but something that you guys can get involved in, and we'll post a video kind of talking about it. But I just want to give you a little tease about that. Hopefully, the crew remembers what I'm talking about, but they may not.
I
I think
do.
so, yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. Last Sunday, we started something new that we're going to try to do maybe every Sunday, time permitting, schedule permitting. And even if like, say, the crew, say we're all busy except for Giz. Well, Giz could still do it even without us. But odds are, whoever from the crew does this, there are always going to be a few others around too. But what we did is what we called Retro Sundays. And I started off last week, and I played some games on a retro system, the Atari Jaguar, Atari's last console, before the company went belly up and was liquidated. And I played some various games. But on the Jaguar, I did some Doom, I did Tempest 2000, I did their pack-in game called Cybermorph, and I did a game that I actually had some help developing, Painter, just show people. And I just kind of gave some talk about what the console meant to me, some history of the console, obviously some involvement that I've had with a few things, very indie-ish stuff, not like mainstream, and what the games and the console meant to me. Now, what's going to happen is every Sunday, uh, depending on people's availability, a crew member is going to do the same thing. So I think Piper is going to be going this Sunday, and she's going to
Yeah.
play something. Maybe one game, maybe a couple. It's kind of up to her. But it's going to be a game, could be console, could be PC. But we want to try to do stuff that's probably around 10 years old or older. We're not looking at like PS3 titles. Probably, I'd say PlayStation 1 is probably about as old as or as new as we would want to go. And so that time frame, old DOS games, things of that nature. But everybody's going to kind of show stuff that what it means to them. And also, we have opened up on a forum. There's a post. I think Piper created a thread where you
Yeah.
can come on there and you can post maybe your retro gaming like moment, maybe one of them, and only limit it to like one thing. Don't like put like 30 games that you love and why. Pick like one game that means a lot to you. You could get on there and say, my first entry into gaming. Like, what was it with Giz? You said something like one of your first memories was it Tarzan or something like that? Playing
Hercules.
it? Hercules. He could maybe tell that story. But if you guys post a story like, this was my first game I played, it got me into gaming, I loved it. Maybe it wasn't the greatest game, maybe it is the greatest game, but this is what it meant to me. Whoever's doing the retro stream this Sunday, in this case Piper, she will pick one of those and then read it. So you'll get a little play there also. So I don't know, what do you guys think so far about the idea and everything on the Retro Sundays?
Oh, I'm
I loved
thoroughly excited for
Yeah.
when it's my turn, and for
Yeah,
seeing
it's
everyone
cool.
else's as well.
Yeah, I to be honest, like we talked about Doom and everything before and stuff, and it wasn't till you actually started playing it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember all this and the noises, and yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Share like memories that we've had of gaming, and hopefully maybe other people will start playing these older games and experiencing like what we did.
Well, and that's kind of what we're seeing too, even with new titles. I mean, you look at a game like Minecraft; it's a very retro feel. You look at Terraria, Starbound, Papers, Please. There's a lot of titles that are, it's the indies that are pushing this stuff, but they're kind of retro-ish in look and feel. But it gets back to where if the game has gameplay, it's fun. It doesn't matter. And there are a lot of viewers out there who follow us who are younger who may have missed all of these titles. And this may give you a chance to want to go back and check some stuff out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a very strong believer that gameplay trumps graphics any day of the week.
Yeah.
Graphics are fantastic, but gameplay just completely wipes the floor.
So look for Piper this Sunday. The time is, I don't think we've got like a set time, but was it around 8 or 9 o'clock your time in the UK? We did the last one?
Hopefully like 9:30, if
Yeah.
that's okay.
Whatever works for you. So the times may or may not be perfect for people, but you can always go back on Twitch and watch it after it's happened. All right, so our next news segment, and this was touched on briefly by Piper earlier, but our servers have been updated to the 1.72 bucket. So there could be some glitches. Not all of the plugins have had every feature added for 1.72, so you will be seeing further updates. But the beauty of it is right now you can go on Infestation, you can go on the Game World, the Build Museum, you can go on to the theme build server with 1.72. You don't have to fall back to old versions, and you can build. And obviously for the people who are building on the current mythology build and of course the new theme for holidays for 2 weeks, you've got all of those great new glass blocks and other blocks available to you.
Yay!
All right, now our main segment. Now way back, episode 16, I believe, of the Crewcast, we were all tasked to pick some shows that were coming up, new shows. These were shows, not shows that were just new to us, but these were shows that were going to start airing this season, brand new, season ones. And we were supposed to try to pick a couple shows that we thought would be hits and or maybe misses. So we were going to do this segment a while back, but none of the crew we hadn't really all watched enough of these shows. I had it on the agenda here. We're going to go ahead and go with it. A lot of the crew haven't watched many of the shows that they picked, so some of us may have to give feedback on the other people's shows. But we figured we're at the break. Most of these shows now are on hiatus until after the holidays, so this is really a good time because if some of these shows are good, you can always catch up with them through Hulu, Netflix possibly, and other services that are out there. So let's start off with Piper. And one of the shows Piper you had was The Crazy Ones, the new show with Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Robin Williams. Now, have you watched one episode?
I have, yeah. I do need a slap wrist because I'm the one who's not watched many at all. But I did watch an episode of The Crazy Ones when it came out. I was so excited about this one because being a huge Buffy fan, I've follow what she's doing and stuff, and this is a bit stalkerish, but follow what she's doing on TV. And I really enjoyed Ringer, which was her last show, and that got cancelled. So it's like, okay. And then I heard she was doing this one with Robin Williams, and I was like, yes, this is going to be great because he's awesome. And I watched it, and I was so disappointed. I don't know if I had really high hopes or if other people found it as well, but it's just not. I didn't get it. I didn't get the humor. I didn't buy the whole relationship between the two of them as well. It's like father and daughter. Something just didn't click, and I just didn't find it as funny as what I thought I would.
Did anyone else check out any episodes of The Crazy Ones?
No.
Okay. I watched one episode and absolutely just did not like it.
It's cringy, isn't it?
I mean, I love Robin Williams. He is so funny, like his stand-up
Yeah.
comedy. I mean, he goes way back to Mork and Mindy. That was his last TV days, and then he pretty much went movies. It just is horrible. I don't like Sarah Michelle Gellar in this show at all. I mean,
in the show.
I like her as Buffy, although I think she was kind of weak in the first season of Buffy, but I think she got better. I didn't really watch Ringer, so I can't really comment too much, but I just think it's kind of bad casting. I don't think him and her together, it sounds funny maybe, but it just, the show doesn't work. At least I don't think. And from what I've seen on TV by the numbers, it's not doing very well. Now, another show that Piper had as one of hers was Marvel's Agent of Shield. So, Piper, did you watch any of this yet?
I haven't watched it yet. I really want to watch it because it's
I
Joss
have.
Whedon, and I just haven't
Oh,
got round to it. I'm
oh,
really sorry. I need to slap on the wrist.
I have. I've watched some of it.
Okay. So, Giz, what did you think? I've watched some of this too.
I've
I think I've
watched.
seen almost all of it. So, take it away, Giz.
I'm behind. I think I've watched like 3 or 4 of them, but I did enjoy it. It wasn't like fantastic, amazing, groundbreaking like the movies, but it was good TV. It had action in it. It had. I thought some of the lines were quite funny. Coulson is just. I love him so much. So seeing him is great. Um, some of the characters are a bit strange. It's not the greatest thing, but I think it is good TV, and I liked it.
Yeah, when I watched the first one, you could definitely see the Josh Whedon involvement with some of the dialogue and
Yeah.
everything. He's more of an executive producer, so the latter episodes you don't really get that as much. Um, I thought the young guy who plays like the tough guy in the first couple episodes, I just found him like a robot, his acting, but I think he got better. Don't really care too much for the two nerdy characters.
Oh, I like them.
I don't think they bring a lot to it. Um, the girl who flies the plane and the girl that's kind of the one they kind of bring in, I think do a pretty decent job. Colson's good. There's a lot of little cameo stuff that appears if you like watch. You know, it's kind of like the movies when you go see a Marvel movie. If you watch the credits are over, then you get like a little scene. They do some stuff like that in this. I think it's a good show. I think it got better about 3 or 4 episodes in. I think the actors got more comfortable with their roles and their characters. Um, so I think it's good. I don't think it's like the greatest show on the air. I worry only because it's going to be labeled as sci-fi and it's going to be kind of expensive if they try to do a lot of special effects. Those kind of things can hamper shows. But this one does a lot where it keeps you in like the plane for a lot of it. So I mean that's a nice closed set. They haven't gone over the top like say a show that I enjoyed and I can't remember the name of it now. What was the one recently on Fox where they went back in time to live at Earth during the dinosaur time frame?
Oh, I know it.
That show I thought was decent, and I knew because it was sci-fi it would struggle, but it was so expensive they couldn't. I think Fox was the one doing it. They wouldn't stick with it, and there was some talk that maybe Netflix or DirecTV were going to like take it over, but it was just too expensive. But I thought that was a decent
Terra
show.
Nova.
Yeah, Terra Nova. I liked Terra Nova. So I think this is going to hold on because right now its ratings are really good, and I think it ties in right now with Dancing with the Stars, which it helps it. Um, Hopefully it'll hang around because I do love the Marvel universe. Not like this is really huge in the Marvel universe. I mean, most of the stuff they do avoids dealing with. You know, you're not seeing any of the major Avengers. You're not really seeing any special superheroes, if you will. It's more the group, you know, dealing with people getting powers or strange alien things, artifacts and stuff. But I think it's good. I hope it continues.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so now Giz had picked, I think, 2 shows that he was interested in. One of them was the Michael J. Fox show, which was named after Michael J. Fox. And have you watched any of this show, or has anyone watched any of it?
I have not.
I have not.
I've got them ready to watch. I haven't
Sorry.
watched them yet.
I have watched about 3 or 4 episodes. Can't stand it. Love Michael J. Fox.
Oh.
Absolutely love him. He is amazing. And the show deals with him having Parkinson's. He plays himself, but he doesn't play the Michael J. Fox that we all know from Back to the Future. Was it Growing Pains and all that stuff? He plays Michael J. Fox, who is like a not a weather, but a TV news reporter in New York, who is famous reporter, gets Parkinson's, disappears, goes just with his family to recover, and then finally gets kind of coaxed to come back to the news. It's got the casting. I don't really care for some of the casting. It's got the one girl from Breaking Bad who played Hank's wife.
Yeah, Marie. I don't like
her. Yeah, I mean, whenever I see her, I always think of that character. So it's like, But, I mean, I don't think she's very good. What was funny is in one of the episodes, you're going to see Michael J. Fox's real wife play somebody else on the show. And I think she would have been better suited to play his wife on this also, because she is an actress. So, yeah, this show is reportedly I think it was TV by the Numbers, slated to be canceled. They don't think there's any chance that it's going to survive.
Oh.
Now, Giz's other show was Almost Human, which is on Fox, and it's kind of just started, kind of a late start to this one. Giz, did you check this one out?
I have not. I was going to watch it 2 days ago, but I just didn't get the chance to.
Is that the same one as like the UK one? Almost Human.
That's being human.
That's
That's being human. That's being human.
Sorry.
What is so
Sorry.
beautiful? I have to leave this in because this literally was what Piper said in the previous.
It literally was. It literally was.
God.
Did the exact same thing.
I'm so sorry.
GG.
Oh God.
But go back to episode 16 if you want to hear that question asked again. Now, the one thing I did say, I made the joke on this one that, because Giz said this is a show about two cops in the future. One of the cops is kind of a robot android or whatever you want to call it, and he's partnering with a human. And I was like, plot twist. The human cop is actually an android. And
I haven't watched it. I hope you don't spoil it.
I have no idea if that's. What you asked me, you're like, is that true? And I'm like, no, I'm just making that up.
Okay.
So I've watched one episode of it. It was decent. I mean, I didn't think it was bad. I've heard that this is. It had decent ratings. I think the first episode, but there has been some talk that this is going to probably be considered a bubble show, one of those shows that Fox may stick with, they may not. I think it really depends on how their other shows do. So. Now,
Plus it's Fox.
I hate that. Like, it's going to depend on their other shows. Like, if a show's doing good, though, surely they should keep it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all comes down to. Nowadays, it's even more complex. It used to be pure viewer rating. How many viewers are watching it, Nielsen ratings and all that. Now it's like, how many are watching it and what age group are they in? They want to push things to certain, the more of the buying demographics, which might be the 18 to 30s or 18 to 40s or whatever. So things get so messed up where a show may not have good ratings, but it's got good ratings with a younger crowd or even an older crowd, and it might hang around. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll survive this season. I don't know if it'll make a season 2, but like the Michael J. Fox show, sounds like it's got a big chance that it may just stop, depending on how much they've already filmed. All right, so Danny didn't really have any picks, and Mario wasn't in the episode where we had picks. But I had picked as a show that I thought might be a fizzle, and that was The Tomorrow People. Now, I know Giz has watched some of this. Has anyone else watched any of The Tomorrow People?
Nope.
No.
So this was another one of those shows that was like Heroes, Alphas, and obviously kind of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has that same mix. People with extraordinary powers, the government or agencies out to get them, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't think it was actually that bad. I thought it was decent. In fact, I thought it started stronger than the first few episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I haven't caught up with this one. I've only seen about 3 or 4 episodes, but I actually think it's decent.
Yeah, I'm behind as well. I do like spoilers. I do like the twist in the fact of what the powers actually are, and the fact that they all pretty much have the same powers. And it's kind of like, that's just a mutation, and they all kind of have the same powers, except for the one guy who has the extra power. So I think that's interesting, and it makes it a bit different to kind of like what Heroes is, in the sense that Heroes was like a variety of powers, which I do like, but I do like the twist in this, in that they all have the same powers, so it's sort of like they are that species. It's like, it's more about the characters rather than the powers. But I do like his power that he has.
Yeah. I think it's a nice twist on it because sometimes the powers get a little crazy. I mean, Misfits, obviously another show in this realm, but Misfits, I think, kind of makes fun of itself in some aspects. I mean, some of the
Yeah, it
powers are
definitely
just
does.
completely like corny. But I like
Yeah.
Misfits, so. um,
Yeah.
but it takes a less serious role, and sometimes a darker role too. But it's a decent show. I don't know if I mean, it's on the CW, so it's got a chance of surviving because they're more willing to stick with stuff because they don't really have a lot of shows. Um, but I mean, they do have a pretty strong other superhero show with Arrow, which is actually even getting better and better in ratings.
Oh, love Arrow.
So that was a show that I pushed to try to get people to watch. Again, not a new show though, so we won't go into it. But if you like, I think Arrow actually is better than Smallville was.
Yes, it is actually. I love Smallville, but yes, it's better than Smallville.
So, but let's move on and talk about the other two shows that I had left. One of the shows I'm going to mention, the last one, I actually edited out, and we'll get to that in a second. But I had mentioned my sleeper hit was Sleepy Hollow. This was a new show on Fox, and it was Ichabod Crane, who here in the States, that is kind of a character from the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But he is back, lives in the States back during the Revolutionary War, right before that starts and all that. He's British, part of the British uh, Army, whatever you want to call it. And he kind of gets involved in some supernaturally stuff back then. Somehow he gets transported to current day time, and some of the headless horseman stuff and this all this myth, mythology, if you want to call it that, is going on now in present day. He's here, and he kind of gets partnered up with a present day cop, and they kind of have this supernatural stuff to deal with. I absolutely love this show. This is
Yeah,
my second favorite show of the new show of the season.
I have watched this. I'm 100% caught up. I am a little bit obsessed with this show. The mythology of it. I love shows that actually have like a mythology to it and like a background to it, and lots of stuff that can come into it as well. So this show is fantastic. I think the writing is really good. The characters are really cool. I love Ichabod. I'm a little bit obsessed with him. Um, I just love it.
Yes, I encourage the rest of the crew to check this one out.
It does. I don't know if you'd agree, but I think it does sometimes slip into the kind of monster of the week type thing sometimes, but it does it in a good way. Would you
Yeah, I mean,
agree?
I think almost every show that kind of is in the supernatural or
Yeah.
powers and all that has to kind of do it. I mean, it's no different than say The Mentalist or Castle, procedural shows where it's the bad guy of the week. This is just the bad monster or whatever of the week. And they don't do it constantly, but they do have an intertwining story, which kind of continues to move forward. And maybe at
It
certain episodes they skip it a little bit and come back to it.
it's very scary though. I mean, I was freaked out. At the end of the first episode, I was freaked out. Like I was watching it in the dark, and I just had a panic attack, a good panic attack, the kind of good scare. But it's very scary at some parts. Some of the monsters are really freaky.
Yes, I mean definitely. If you're old enough to watch it, check this one out. Sleepy Hollow, excellent show, doing very well rating wise. So it should continue on. Will it go for season two? Um, I can hope, but we never
It's
know.
been renewed. It's been renewed for
Has
season
it been
two.
renewed?
It has been renewed, yeah.
All right, now another show that I'd picked that I actually edited out, and a lot of times, and people may not know this, when we record this podcast, it might go on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but I usually try to get it pared down to 40, 50 minutes. I try to keep it under an hour or so because people are like, oh, it's too long. Some people want it to be the full length, but most people have said they'd rather see it, 40, 50 minutes, if that. So there was one show that I mentioned that I edited out of episode 16, and that was The Blacklist. Now, this is a new show on NBC. It's a drama, and it stars James Spader. And pretty much the other people on it are kind of your normal actors and actresses that maybe they aren't big stars, but James Spader is the star of the show. But he plays kind of like an ex CIA FBI guy who kind of goes rogue, and he becomes like a fugitive, and the government's looking for him, and he's always keeping away from him. But then at the start of this show, he actually comes to FBI headquarters, turns himself in, and basically just tells them, kind of in a sense, I'm so connected with the outside world, the nefarious stuff. I have a blacklist of all these criminals and all these people that you want to take out and capture, and I'll help you. It basically give him basically freedom. So he starts working with the FBI, and there's a girl in particular that he wants to be kind of his handler, and we're not really sure why, and there's a lot of stuff going on with her, but James Spader is just so good in this show. He makes this show. This show is super popular. It's one of the highest rated new shows here in the States. I can't say enough about it. I know Giz has watched some of it, all of it, I'm not sure.
All of it, I'm caught up. This is another one of those, another show that I'm kind of obsessed with. I mean, James Spader, I saw him in Stargate, in the original Stargate movie, and I did like him. But I sort of forgot about him. So when Boz kind of mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, so watching this show, he's so good. Like Boz says, he is literally the star of the show. Like, every scene he's in, it's just so good. And I love that there's a sort of ongoing sort of mystery thing to it as well. Like, and there's lots of little kind of hidden things like, are they bad? Are they good? You don't know. Are they a mole? Are they evil? Are they good? Like, who's good? Who's bad? And the morals of it as well come up in a lot of things. Like, because obviously he's a criminal, so. And he's working with the FBI, so it's kind of like sometimes they have to kind of sort of break their morals to get the job done. And it's really, really good. And the latest episode was fantastic.
Yeah,
I almost cried.
I'm upset now. I edited that one out because I wanted to keep the show shorter, but it's like Sleepy Hollow is awesome. Blacklist is awesome. I really encourage people to check them both out.
I do have to say, I do prefer Sleepy Hollow to Blacklist, but that's only because it's supernatural stuff, and I prefer supernatural stuff to actual pew 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 stuff.
Yeah.
It's like really close.
You can't go wrong with either of them, so I encourage the crew, and I encourage you guys out there to check out these shows. All of these shows. And you may post that you love Almost Human, you love the Michael J. Fox show, you love the crazy ones. You hate some of them. Maybe you hate Sleepy Hollow on the Blacklist. How could you? So we will probably not be touching on a lot more TV until maybe the season starts to finish up here at fall. Maybe like a fall recap and possibly talk about some summer stuff. So it's going to be a little bit before we come back to TV. But let's see how these shows hold up. And by then, hopefully the crew have caught up on all the ones they want to. Otherwise, Gizmo will have to think of a punishment.
We have to watch episodes of Bobby Adventures on Disney.
Honey Boo Boo?
No.
Honey Boo Boo!
No, that's just mean.
No, you have to watch Miley Cyrus's twerking video like 100 times every day.
And you have to recreate it so we can put it on the channel. The other channel. All right, so let's talk deals of the week. Currently, right now going on is the Humble Jumbo Bundle. Now this one has 6 titles now, but they've said there's going to be more like always. Natural Selection 2, Sanctum 2, Magica plus the DLC for it, Orcs Must Die 2 Complete, Gary's Mod, and Serious Sam 3, the BFE edition. Orcs Must Die 2 Complete, Gary's Mod, Serious Sam 3. Those 3 you have to at least have paid more than $4.15 for the bundle. Currently, that value could go up or down. But basically, if you bid $5, you get all 6 of those games and whatever else comes out. But any thought on any of these games from you guys?
Yeah, Magica, we've played that quite a bit. I really like Magica, so Magica is a great game, especially if you've got some friends to play with. Magica is a really, really good game to play. I don't know what you guys think about Magica.
It's a trolley game.
Yeah, if you're with friends, it is quite a trolley game because you can kill each other, but it is a lot of fun. And I think we were talking about maybe streaming it again at some point soon. I played the first Sanctum, and I really like it. I haven't played Sanctum 2, but assuming it's good.
It looks really good. It's got a storyline as well.
Want to play it. I played Orcs Must Die 1. I know Mario has as well. He's actually got some videos on his channel. And we were talking about possibly playing 2 together at some point. So I haven't played 2, but I'm going to be playing 2. Number 1 is very good, so I'm sure number 2 is even better because it's multiplayer. We played Serious Sam 3. I know Boz loves Serious Sam.
That's right.
We've got some videos of Serious Sam 3, haven't we, on our channel? And on the other
Yes.
one as well.
Yes. Some of them have been edited.
And obviously we've played Gary's mod. I know a lot of the fans like Gary's mod, so I'm sure you guys would like Gary's mod. It's a
lot of
good game.
content.
Lots of mods to it as well. Lots of like different kind of game modes to it. So definitely Gary's mod is a really fun game. And I haven't played Natural Selection 2, so I don't know.
Any other thoughts on any of these games from anybody?
They're all really, really good games. I think it's worth the money for all of the games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they add.
Oh, definitely.
So anyway, humble jumbo bundle, very great. Hopefully there'll be some other great titles added to it. But right now, $5 or less, $4.15 to $5 gets you 6 great games. Okay, last but not least, your guys' questions. Now, as always, if you have questions for us, there's a link in the description of this video or in the description of the podcast. It tells you where to go to fill out a form with your question. If you want to do it as a video question or as an audio question, which we highly encourage you to do, you can put the video on YouTube, make it unlisted, put the video on your Dropbox, put the audio on SoundCloud on Dropbox, whatever you like. And in that form, instead of typing your question, just give us a link in the description to your video or sound file, and we'll put that on the podcast. But sadly, we don't have any of those. So our first question comes from Steven/21. And Steven asks, is it true that you can only use a game disc once on Xbox One and PS4 because they leave a watermark on the disc? That's an easy one. No, that's not true.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, if that's true, that's ridiculous.
Now, what I think a lot of this comes from is originally the Xbox One wanted to have it so that when you bought a game, that the physical game did have in a sense, not a watermark per se, but a unique ID, a serial key embedded into the disc that would then pair it to your computer. And you could take the box in and throw it in the trash. Because as far as Microsoft's concerned, once you install the game, that's your game. And, you could throw the disc away, you could loan it to a friend, but you'd still have the game paired with your system. So I think that's where maybe some of this is coming from. But all the current consoles use the same technology as before. You buy the disc, it's yours, you can sell it, you can trade it, whatever you want. All right, next one comes from Ride All Day. And they ask, can you give us some hints of things you might do in the future?
Well,
Go ahead.
we're going to, and then we're going to, and then.
I can tell you that I am going to have dinner later.
I'm going to be asleep soon.
Yeah. So, probably take a shower tomorrow. See if the blizzard hits tonight. Other than that, Sunday I'm going to go to the Bengal game here, which has big playoff potential for us.
Ooh.
Also supposed to be bad weather during that game, so.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
again. Do you know what I'm doing on Saturday?
I think,
I'm going to be trying on my bridesmaid's dress, and I'm very excited about it.
I think they meant on the channel.
On the channel?
Oh.
More videos.
Let's see.
Easy answer.
Hints of things we do in the future. Well, Mole, Darkness Falls 2, couple new series. Can't talk about them. What else we got? More retro Sunday stuff. Themes. Maybe some things some other things that we get more people involved in. Have some fans competing, maybe against the crew or with the crew.
Like
we don't want to
the
say too
ultra
much.
hardcore. That was quite cool.
Yeah, we don't want to say too much, but we definitely like to do lots of different things, and it makes it tough to really decide what we're going to do. But we don't want to say too much, just because we don't want to promise something and not do it. But Mole is really going to be occupying a lot of our time here this month. Mario, myself, and Piper for casting, and then next year that one's going to start, full force after the holidays are over. So, Mole, Darkness Falls 2, those are two biggies that we really need to get working on. And we're going to probably try to come up with some different server thing that we run that you guys can get on, but we're not going to talk about that. All right, the last question comes from I Love Crew.
Oh, nice name.
Great name.
And they ask, can you do more audience participation when you play these for fun games, like Stop the Boom, Don't Be Last, etc.? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be
the game
cool.
shows are always my kind of favourite things to do.
Yeah, we haven't done the oh god, what's it called? Charades for a while. So with that was audience participation.
I think the one thing on this that makes it difficult for people, and makes it very difficult for us, they go hand in hand. Is people get upset they don't get to do some of these things with us. Everybody wants to be in something, but it's really hard for us because if we're going to have you in Stop the Boom, or we're going to have you in charades, or even the Mole or whatever, you have to have a good microphone. And we struggle with this at times, just ourselves, when microphones go down or whatever, or people get new microphones and they don't sound very good. And it's really hard to do videos if you can't talk. I mean, you can't play in charades if you can't talk. You can't be a very effective player in Stop the Boom if you're not able to communicate with your team. It makes it tough. I mean, even Kama had to kind of deal with this because he hasn't had the ability to talk, microphone issues or whatever, in the hardcore, and he has to type, and that can take you out of it. Also, if you're trying to hide, say, and you're holding shift, it's pretty hard to type in game and do all that stuff. So whenever we want to bring people in, we really have to make sure they have decent hardware. The game runs fine on their computer, their internet connection's decent so they're not lagging, and of course they have a decent microphone. So it's tough. And we've had people get kind of upset with us when we tell them that the microphone isn't good enough and we have to mute them.
Yeah, otherwise we'll have like comments on YouTube with people saying, "Oh, it was terrible background noise," blah blah blah. So we want good quality for everything we do.
I mean, our early videos, we had lots of audio glitches here and there. I mean, we've gotten immensely better at it. Sometimes we still have hiccups here and there. But if it's somebody who has a constant bad sounding microphone for the entire thing, it makes it tough. So we're gonna do stuff like we've already talked about. We're gonna try to do things with fans, get some people more involved. We can't have everybody involved, and it's gonna be hard picking people. But one of the biggest criteria is early on is going to be technically, do you have the hardware to be able to actually be in something? All right. Well, with that ends episode 27 of the Crewcast. If you guys want to say goodbye, we will head out.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Come back.